Many thanks for choosing us. Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, Dr. James Kluchi-Aveji, says there's a deliberate practice by some state institutions to falsify and backdate receipts when they're invited to the Public Accounts Committee. Dr. Aveji was commenting on the presentation of some new documents to the committee by the Water and Sanitation Board in the Ahafo region.
So he said they backdated the receipts. He spoke the truth. So that tells you how the system works. You see, something that happened in 2019, for which the audit was done in 2020. Now, the receipts was written on 1st February 2023, backdated. And that receipts, if you trace it to the records of that company or enterprise, you won't get it anywhere, recorded in any of their books. So the whole system, it's some way. Come again. Well, if you ask of the date, the backdated date, probably will be going somewhere else again. So let's end it there.
Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins me with details. Kweku, what's the background to this claim by the chairman? Hello, Kweku.
Yes.
So give us the background to the chairman, Kluchi-Aveji, making this complaint.
So according to James Kluchi-Aveji, who was hearing testimony from the Water Resources Commission in the Ahafo region, there is this practice of state institutions, upon being invited to come to the committee to provide evidence on some of their transactions, to falsify documents, to backdate some of the receipts in order to look clean. But this is a practice that their committee have been able to unravel through the years. And so in this particular instance, they were able to detect that this particular officer from the Water Resources Commission in the Ahafo region had backdated the documents and some of the receipts that he had generated to present to the auditors. And so even though the audit was conducted in 2020 and these specific issues raised, they had to take 2 years before these receipts will now be generated and some of the figures falsified to meet the recommendations of the committee. He is warning that in the future, they are not going to countenance such behavior from state institutions, and any such detection will be handed over to the police for investigation and prosecution.
Kweku, what else is coming up with the committee hearing?
So the Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, Cecilia Abinadapa, is lamenting the debilitating impact of galamsey on water bodies. He is saying that the Brim River in the eastern region is currently one of the most polluted water bodies in Ghana currently. And he says that is making it difficult for her ministry to be able to discharge their responsibility in pumping water, cleaning water to various homes in the Gro, Osino, in other places in the eastern region. He is asking for collective support from MPs and state institutions to be able to deal with this menace.
Kweku Asante is our man in Parliament following events for us. Definitely will bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. Now, bodies of the 10 civilians allegedly murdered by men believed to be military in Boko have been released to their families for burial. JoyNews understands the decision was taken after a meeting between the security hierarchy, the traditional authority, and the families on Wednesday night. The bodies have since been buried according to Islamic principles, and the families eagerly waiting to hear from the Regional Security Council on how it intends to get justice for the deceased. Meanwhile, the Upper East Regional Security Council, which is yet to speak on the killings, is set to meet this afternoon to deliberate on the matter. Assemblyman for the Misiga electoral area, Paul Musa, tells us more on the situation.
Yesterday, evening of yesterday, I think there was a periodic gunshot all over the Boko municipality within the township. Then the early mornings of yesterday, the same thing happened. And what I know little about it is little them came in to see how they can separate these two factions away. So in the process of coming in, we don't know what really happened. They went to a community called Sunguri and then Province. In the process of separating, they decided to chase one faction, that is the society. And actually, with all due respect, we didn't know what they were really trying to do. In the process of chasing them, this guy withdrew. They ran and left, went to their houses. Then they even chased them to the extent of killing people in their garden. Someone who's in the garden working. Since yesterday, after the military did this thing, the place has become nothing else. Because the entire community and the entire coastals are still mourning for the deaths that the military have caused for us. About 8 people in a single community, which I believe it were to be the Mampus and the Kusasis, the Mampus wouldn't have been able to people. You are here to protect us, to save our lives. And look at what you are now taking us to.
You heard that Paul Musa, he's assemblyman for the Mythical area. Away from that,
Having our space, we don't have furniture. Sometimes when we are coming to school, we feel bored. We don't even feel to come to school because we don't have furniture. If you dress and come to school, you come and sit on the floor, your things will be dirty. So we are begging the government to give us chairs.
Every morning, these children carry stools and plastic chairs on their heads.
this afternoon, 5,000 desks are being transported to schools without furniture in the Northeast region. That's according to Education Minister Dr. Yahweh Dichum. The minister says the intervention is in response to JoyNews' Schools of Shame series, which highlighted the struggles of rural poor pupils. Speaking to my colleague Benis Abobedo Lanza, he says that a list of needy schools has been compiled to aid in the distribution.
We've never stopped distributing furniture across the country. Furniture has been
distributed evenly?
Oh, yes. Some places have more challenges than others, so you can understand. But we have distributed furniture across the country. As I speak with you tomorrow, about 5,000 pieces of furniture is going to Pandai.
Okay.
It will be loading tomorrow, heading to some of the areas that have serious challenges.
Was this after the documentary, or you were aware of the Pandai situation? I mean,
you highlighted it, and I agree with you that when you highlight a problem, we should solve them. So I'm a fixer. So when you highlight a problem, I'll go and I'll solve them.
are your people in the chain, i.e., there's an MC there, there's a district director of education.
It's going through the regional director, who, when I spoke with, had just returned from Pandai, and he's liaising with the MC and the district director through the head teachers. So they are doing their compilation as to where the challenges are, because obviously it's not every school.
Right.
So what they are doing now is they are doing the compilation. So by the time it hits there, the regional minister will be there, and they will look at their list and distribute it to the schools that need the help. So there's a plan, and they will be able to help schools that need it. Obviously, there are some schools that may not need the help.
This week's edition of our Schools of Shame series revealed that only 3 textbooks have been distributed to schools in the Krachin Chumbro district since the introduction of a new curriculum in 2019. President of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Reverend Isaac Owusu, says the problem is nationwide. According to Dr. Dichum, this problem is as a result of a decision to provide each student with a textbook and involve the private sector in their production.
It was 4 core textbooks.
Okay.
And I think the 5th one has also been procured. You see, the thing is this.
Didn't we put the cart?
No, not really.
Didn't we put the cart before the horse then?
No, no. It is a different approach. In the past, we have not focused on one-to-one curriculum procurement. So invariably, you're going to have 2 students sharing a book. We decided that it should rather be one-to-one. So it takes more effort to do one-to-one textbook deployment.
But were you ready for that? 2019 to 2023, that's 4 solid years.
But the books went in 2022, so don't add the 1 year for me.
Okay, 3 solid years. That's enough time. That's enough time that's enough time for a child to grow, walk, and run.
You see, the interesting thing about this is that we as a country, unlike other countries, decided that we allow the private sector to develop the textbooks. So we want to allow the private sector. See, let me tell you this. In the old system, where the ministry had writers, right? And they were writing, it took such a shorter period of time to get textbooks in all classrooms.
So clearly that was a better system, is that not it?
In terms of the speed, but I also have a philosophical understanding that was developed over the years that the private sector should be allowed to develop in the book industry. That is not to say that this could not have been done faster. So I'll concede that in the future, this has taught us some useful lessons that you really have to fast track a lot of things to make sure, even if it's private sector development, you can shorten the procurement and other processes so it doesn't drag on forever. So yes, I'll concede. But you also know that they develop what they call learner packs for the teachers for the first 2 years before the third year came and textbooks started going. So it's not as if nothing at all was given to the teacher. And if you talk to the teachers, they will tell you.
6 people have been killed in 2 fires recorded in Kumasi in less than a month this year. The first involved a police officer, his wife, and a 3-month-old baby in Apromasi in the second week of January. Just yesterday, February 1, a woman, including her 3 daughters, were also killed in their home after the fire swept through their apartment. The development has generated lots of concern for fire situations in the Ashanti region, particularly in the instances that lives have been lost. What could be accounting for the problem, and why are victims unable to escape the fire? What's the makeup of their homes or structures? We'll be finding out about that more, including the issue of being trapped indoor as a result of the nature of the burglar-proof people use these days. The Director of Public Relations at the Ghana National Fire Service, Timothy Osafo Efum, has been offering some recommendations on the way forward.
Well, we recommend that as a matter of urgency, we should all install what we call early detection system. And the simplest form of this early detection system is what we call the smoke detector. Now, this smoke detector is a simple device that you fix on the ceiling of your home or in your office. Now, the purpose of this smoke detector is to pick up any smoke in your room or in your apartment. Once it picks up the smoke, it gives an alarm. So whether you are asleep or out of your premises, because of the alarm, you will hear. And when you are asleep, you wake up and find your way out. Now, if you are also out of your home, somebody will hear and alert the occupants that there is an alarm blowing, and therefore there might be a problem. So as a first step, we all need to get what we call these alarm systems, which will pick and alert us so that we can escape to safety. Now, again, what we have to do is, because we have also identified that people want to secure themselves and therefore will be barricading themselves inside their homes from armed robbery. We advise that we have 2 types of these burglar-proofing systems. One is fixed burglar-proofing system, and one is movable burglar-proofing system. So we advise that if we want to buy the burglar-proof, let's get the one that it is easy to open. Now, those ones, it is either you have a key that is in there, or you have a quick release lock that will also open for you to come out. So we advise that if you have about 2 windows, you fix, maybe because of the cost, you fix a fixed one and a movable one, so that in case of any emergency and your door is blocked, you can use the window as an alternate exit to exit your premises.
We can now speak with Professor Divine Ahaje. He's head of settlement studies at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology on how safety can be maintained during fire outbreaks, especially in the case of burglar-proof apartments. I'm grateful for your time, Prof. How do we protect ourselves from criminals using burglar-proofs and at the same time preventing massive damage during fire outbreaks?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think over the years or several years, the issue of security has become a major issue for all of us because of the burglar, as you are saying. And then safety in terms of fire is also very important. And actually, if you go to the National Building Regulations, LI 1630/1996, it is actually mandatory. And the catch word there, or the key word there, is that in the event of fire, we should be able to escape from other openings apart from the doorway. So I think it's a requirement. What has been the problem in the past is for several years, the kind of burglar-proof, which especially with the louver blade type, that we had never had means of escape. You know, and that is what we at the Center for Settlement Studies looked at and thought that, no, to be able to address this specific clause in the National Building Regulations, it is important that something like that is developed. And then we made the first attempt and demonstrated that actually the burglar-proof can be designed for security reasons and still you have means of escape. And over the years now, we have about 3 prototypes for which we have developed or perfected this system to the extent that now we have done a modern one in aluminum frame. And I think the important thing about our system is that when there's a fire, you can open the system in one unit. When I say that, what I mean is the mosquito net, the burglar proof itself, the louver blades are all in one unit. And so by just pressing a knob, then it can be opened, and then the family can have a safe way to get out of the house. And so I think, to your question, that is what I can say for now. The system is now available. It's a matter of diffusing it into the public, and then other stakeholders coming on board so that it becomes a key part of our construction. And especially as the law already exists, it means that the MMDAs through ministries should be able to now enforce that this becomes part of our culture when it comes to residential and building construction.
That sounds to me like a very brilliant idea, Prof. But wouldn't this also make it easy for criminals who we are preventing from reaching out to us to actually have access to those apartments?
No, we have taken that into consideration in the way it has been designed. And so if a criminal can get in, then it means that they have other ways of maybe getting in normally as for all burglar-proof systems. But this particular system has been designed because the opening still has the metal there. And then, for instance, the first system that we developed, we have a padlock fixed into the frame. And so it means that before anybody can get access to it, he has to get access to the padlock key or has to break the padlock, you know, which is highly difficult if you are outside the house to do that. The other system that we developed, which uses a lever, goes down to the floor. It has a spring that goes down to the floor level. And so somebody outside will never get access in terms of reaching the ground to be able to open it. And so in terms of security, I can assure you that we have taken that into consideration. And also the good point is that now we have demonstrated that that same system can be designed or fabricated to have the security and also an emergency exit as required by the law.
I'm grateful for your time. Professor Divine Ahaje is head of settlement studies at the KNUST. Back here in Accra, Mayor of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Elizabeth Saki, has vowed to win the fight against sanitation offenders as she personally led the Joy Clean Ghana team to the Agbeblushi market, where more than 30 people were arrested for flouting sections of the sanitation bylaws. Michael Ashale was there for Joy News.
Chaotic scenes at the Agbogloshi market as task force of the AMA seeks to enforce the bylaws that forbade anyone from selling on the shoulders of the street and on open drains. But the offenders will not go down without a fight. And some of these people have decided to take the law into their own hands and rescue their tubers of yam that were earlier taken from them here. Aside obstructing the free flow of traffic, the foodstuffs sold by these traders are at a higher risk of cross-contamination. After years of sensitizing them, they continue to break the law in a brazen fashion.
See, they've just displayed for sale the yam on the background, which is very bad. They've displayed for sale the yam on the background, and it is not every microorganism that has its way into food you cook that will die. Some will hibernate in the heat. Then when you eat it, it will then rejuvenate and start multiplying in you. And we all know that of late we've been hearing food poison issues in the country. And all these things are part of it.
Director of Environmental Health and Sanitation Unit of the AMA, Florence Kuchi, says the Assembly will deploy new strategies to curb the situation.
We have confiscated their goods several occasions, but they are refusing. Now, when you even seize the goods, they won't come again. Instead of seizing the goods, we are going to arrest the human beings. And take the human beings, take them to court. When court finds them and direct them not to do, maybe they will stop doing it. That is what we are going to do now. The whole of this month will be in Agbogloshi, and we'll make sure that before we leave Agbogloshi, Agbogloshi has turned into a new leaf.
And for the first time, the mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki, personally led the Joy Clean Ghana team.
All of them, these people, where are your boys?
Please, the man, they are doing it in the back. They are coming.
Arrest all of them. How many times do they want us to talk to them? They know what they are doing is wrong, and if they are doing it, yeah. So arrest them.
For her, offenders will no longer be spared.
This is what has created the problem at Yellow Sisiwache. Yeah. It's all because of this fault. You are training them, you are telling them what to do a whole year, and they are not responding to it. Now arrest them. Yes, arrest them. It's rather unfortunate, and I really feel sorry for my officers. Apparently, that shouldn't be the mood of the market, especially the yam sellers. They are fond of doing that. Either they attack you or they throw stones at you and others. I personally have come, but fortunately, because I'm the mayor, when I come, they are calm a bit and then they try to pack their things. But I've had enough of it. And if they've gone to that extent of attacking my officers, it tells you the next time it will be me. So I'm not going to take it lightly. And that's the action now.
A very difficult day for the JoyNews Clean Ghana campaign team. The mayor herself joined the team whilst they combed through the streets of the Agbogloshi market to enforce the tenets of the AMA bylaws. Well, she's giving her word that she's going to come very hard because it's time that they put some action to the words they've been saying. This time, they will be arresting even those who are buying from those breaking the law. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale.
Some mechanics who were forcibly ejected from Midday Junction, Kumasi, are calling for the intervention of government after city authorities demanded 500 Ghana cedis for each vehicle towed from their shops. MCE for Foricrom told Love News the assembly had to forcibly eject them because they were occupying the entrance of a school. But letters written to the artisans and cited by Love News indicated their presence was inviting armed robbers. The stranded artisans say they cannot afford monies demanded by authorities for their clients' vehicles forcibly towed from the site. Love FM said Rasta Sasaridonko was at the scene and now report.
This spot has served as a workshop for these mechanics for close to 15 years. But the MC for Forikrum, Ibrahim Kwame says they had to forcibly eject them because authorities of a local school once they cleared of their frontage. But the artisans showed our news team their presence poses a security challenge to the community.
Undue charges that we have allowed armed robbers to use this place as a hideout. They tried manipulating the owner to sack us, and she refused. They started sending us evacuation letters after the woman left. And we are in the moment where we have many school fees to cover. Please speak on our behalf.
I've been working here for over 15 years. The MC for Forikrum says this school, Marcel's, has requested that they move them from this place. And so they have, in a couple of days ago, moved and towed forcibly a number of vehicles from this yard to the nearest police station. Now they are demanding 500 Ghana cedis each for the towed vehicle as towing fee. And the mechanics are angry.
They are taking 500 cedis for all the cars they towed. They towed all the cars we had, including the automatic ones.
A bridge linking Papase to Domit Fase in the South municipality has caved in for almost 3 months and has been left unattended too, leaving residents worried. My colleague Samuel Kojo earlier was at the bridge and has filed this report.
This bridge has caved in for some even believe it's been 6 months. So we're trying to give ourselves between 3 and 6 months since this caved in. But the authorities have turned a blind eye to it and nothing is being done. Some of the residents have been speaking to us about how terrible this has been affecting them.
Kojo We're live on JoyNews today. We'll take a break. When we return, there's business.
Hello, good afternoon, warm welcome to the business segment on JoyNews today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. The European Union, in partnership with the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, has launched the Ghana EU Agribusiness Platform. The platform will serve as a convenient space for agribusiness actors and stakeholders in Ghana and the EU to connect and exchange for wider business and partnership opportunities. Speaking at the launch, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison, assured a 50% discount for the first 100 companies to sign on to the platform. There is more in this report.
The Ghana EU Agribusiness Platform is created as part of the broader vision of establishing the AU-EU Agri-Food Platform, envisaged to be an instrument to catalyze sustainable and inclusive investment in agriculture on the African continent. According to Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison, the platform would transform Ghanaian businesses.
Today, we have a platform that is set up to promote agribusiness skills, technology, investment, trade, and what have you. Our expectations are that this platform will transform, enhance the credibility of Ghanaian and African businesses, and that of also of the European businesses. We are putting a lot of emphasis on the credibility of the platform. We are looking at people or companies that are legally registered, that have well-profiled documentation. Certification will be will be of emphasis as you have heard about it, standardization and the various Also, you ought to belong to some association to also enhance a lot of opportunities that the platform will bring. This is a discount which is applicable to both EU and African and Ghanaian. So the discount is 50% of the amount that will be stated on the platform. This is for the first 100 registrants.
Treasurer of the European Chamber of Commerce, Andrea Gia, highlighted benefits Ghanaian companies could gain from European markets when they sign up onto the platform.
The idea is that we know very well that the agricultural sector in Ghana is one of the most active and can grow much better than any other sector. You imagine even during the COVID, when all the country was locked down, the only sector which survive and goes and grow and have more than any other potentiality is the agribusiness. In terms of quantity, in terms of quality, in terms of skill, improvement, and let's also try to convince the youth that agriculture still is a very good business. But there is no a direct trade or exemption due to the platform. However, through the platform you can access to all the information available into the institutional website of the European delegation, where you can access and get all the needed information, forget any exemption. For sure, we as European Chamber of Commerce and our Agriculture Chamber of Commerce, which are partners in this project, we might help to direct and give always the updated information.
Business platform is funded by the European Union Ghana in partnership with the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana.
Now, the Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana has launched the Tech Job Fair to equip the youth with employable technology skills and acquaint themselves with companies to help them get jobs. Here's more.
Tech Job Fair is an annual event that brings together organizations, youth, and stakeholders to explore tech roles and help the youth to acquire jobs. This year's Tech Job Fair was launched under the theme, Leveraging Technology to Create Inclusive and Sustainable Jobs. Speaking at the launch, Executive Director of the Institute of ICT Professionals Ghana, David Gowu, said participants will acquire soft skills and have the opportunity to engage some employers on the necessary requirements to get employed.
People who are looking for a job can come around, see whether they have the skills required by the employers, or try to get institutions where they can upgrade their skills and get some jobs. We have over 50 companies with jobs, more than 10 jobs per company. That will be there. Some of the companies will be doing live interviews. So when people come in and they meet their criteria, they are interviewed there so that the first level of interview is done. All they need is maybe a second level of interview to get employed. Now, we also have a plenary session where employers will explain to job seekers the requirement, the things they are looking out for, the soft skills they are looking out for, the tech skills they are looking out for, so that these people can then go for further training so they can benefit in the employment scheme. So we have Jobaman, we have Lene Services, we have so many other job agencies that will be there. They know the requirements from all these companies. They are able to tell the job seekers what you need to do to be able to find a job. So if you come to the job fair, you either get a job instantly or know the requirements so that you go and prepare yourself and then get a job.
The Director General of the National Information Technology Agency, Richard Ochrifosu, in a speech read on his behalf, reiterated government's commitment to supporting the development skills in technology to help the youth to acquire jobs.
Tech Job Fair is a platform to bring employers, job seekers, and other relevant stakeholders together to address challenges of availability of skilled personnel for our industries. We at NITA and government are excited with these initiatives and will provide all the needed support from government to ensure that this year and subsequent fairs will be successful.
Participants at the Tech Job Fair would require to complete a survey to be matched with jobs based on their skills.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports now on JoyNews today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Former IBF welterweight champion Joshua Clottey says Isaac Dogbe's upcoming fight against Robesi Ramirez is going to be a very difficult one. Speaking in a yet-to-be televised Prime Tech interview, he said that Isaac Dogbe must mop up strategies to match his opponent.
About Dogbe, he have a serious fight to
Robesi Ramirez.
Yes, and Richard Cometu. They all have a serious fight. The two Ramirez guys that they go to fight, they are all two serious fights. I pray for them that they all gonna win. But it wasn't easy for them, telling you the truth.
It's been tough.
Very, very tough. Especially Dogbe Hone. The reason why I said Dogbe Hone is Dogbe is learning different strategy by moving. He is too short to move in around, go circle in the ring because he's too short. And the guy that is going to fight is 2 times Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
And he's a southpaw.
Yeah.
So all the advantages on the guy. And I don't even know if Dogbe have to make a plan that he have to follow the guy. But Dogbe is the defenseless guy. He don't get a good defense. But if Dogbe have a defense, he was just stop the guy in. He's gonna take the guy out.
Dogbe told me that Robesi Ramirez has never fought any boxer like him before.
He shouldn't say that. He shouldn't even put that thing in. It's a motivation and it's good.
Yeah.
But you putting that thing in your mind, make it a motivation. But when he goes to the ring, respect him. You know why? He knows the ring because he has fought many amateur fights. He's 2 times gold medalist. Yeah. Like Lomachenko. Only just this guy is not that excited. He like to throw power shots. You see, he and Dogbe is gonna be a very, very
close game.
Yeah, close fight and a tough fight as that matter.
So athletics now, and Ghana's record long jumper, Deborah Akwa, she has qualified for the World Athletics Championship. That will be happening later this year in Budapest. Speaking to my colleague George Ade Jr., Deborah said she's excited to have earned qualification this early.
So after the Commonwealth Games, I was made to understand that this might be it for next for this season too. So it wasn't really a surprise. It wasn't really a surprise, but then after the Commonwealth Games, I never heard anything about that anymore. So I was just here until I logged into Twitter, and then I saw you post, and I was like, yeah, so that's so true. So yeah.
So the celebration was minimal because
yeah.
But what was there any relief? Like qualification is, normally no matter how great you are, you still want to get to qualify. So once that when you know you're qualified, what was the relief like?
Okay, so in terms of like knowing
that it actually had been announced, yeah.
All right. So like I said, I was kind of having a little problem with my immigration stuff. And then I got to sort all that out. And before that, I was kind of like off training, like I was on and off, because it was between knowing if I'll be able to travel or I'll just be here, like not knowing when I'll be good, when I'll be able to solve this immigration stuff that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I was kind of on and off training, because if I'm not able to sort that out, then what am I training for, So yeah, I was kind of on and off. So even my first competition, the jump wasn't really what I was expecting though, but it happened. So
yeah. And how does that then shape the rest of the season for you? Because now And what most athletes will be doing is trying to qualify for the big competition, which is happening in August. You have already qualified. I know you've got a pretty tight schedule, but mentally, how are you approaching all of these?
It's a relief because I don't know how this whole thing is gonna, bother me for, and how it's gonna prevent me from maybe doing the best that I'm supposed to be doing. So it's really a relief that I've already qualified. So all I have to do is, just maintain my strength and get in a good shape.
Did it come to you?
We'll have some more of this in our subsequent bulletins. And also at 2 p.m. when my colleague Nathaniel Arthur comes your way with sports today. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews. And our highlight musician Kwabna says all is set for his annual Love Night concert. Speaking in an interview on Prime Morning, the Aso hitmaker revealed his single and can't wait to party with all singles come 11th at the National Theatre.
See, it is what it is. And what is real, and I mean, if something happened yesterday, it can happen tomorrow.
Okay.
It can happen today. You know what I mean? It's inevitable. So Charlie, like you said, everybody will chop breakfast one way or the other.
Yeah. And you've had yours.
It is what it is. Yeah.
After that, have you chopped it?
No. After that, I am trying to focus more on myself and actually build more around myself, because I kind of realized that I met myself quite recently, and I'm enjoying how I find myself. I want to spend a lot more time with myself for now, before I can invite somebody else in later.
Oh, so since then?
Nah, man, I want to enjoy myself a little bit and enjoy my single love life. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And you've been enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it. So on this note, I'm inviting all singles for us to meet on the 11th. Of February. You see, in February we are entering the
we are the month of love.
You know what I mean? So we singles, we are getting to meet, but we are inviting the couples to the doubles.
So
we're inviting the doubles as well. So yeah, on the 11th at the National Theatre. We all meeting up there for the Vitamilk Love Night. You see, I'm in Choco. I'm in brown. Yeah. So,
but I don't know. For some reason, I don't believe.
Why don't you believe
that you are single? I need proof.
Proof?
Yeah. How can you prove?
How do I prove it? How do I even prove it?
I need proof. I don't know. There's something that.
How do I even prove that I'm single? I am.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
I am single.
But you're not searching. Because you want to enjoy the single life. Now, American rapper Toby has expressed his admiration for some Ghanaian musicians he would like to work with. In an exclusive interview with JoyNews, the Grammy nominee named Stonebwoy, Burna Boy, Ashake, and others as creatives he would love to work with.
Out here in Ghana, Stonebwoy, that boy go crazy. In Nigeria, go ahead.
I said that boy Kwesi Arthur. That's my boy. That's my dog. He hard. 100%. Kwesi Arthur, he hard.
And then in Nigeria, of course, Burna. I like Asake. Yeah, I like them boys.
Shout out Ira Star too. Ira Star.
Yeah. We trying to connect. We gonna do a lot of stuff in 2023 and connect and bridge the gap between home and then where we at in the States.
Now, it could be Africa's time to experience Beyonce's Renaissance World Tour, as sources say she is considering bringing the anticipated show to Ghana. These days only form part of the experience, and there are talks to see if a more family-friendly version of her show can be taken to Ghana, an insider told Metro.uk. Beyonce's fan base in Ghana grew tremendously when she featured one of Ghana's topmost artists, Shatta Wale, on Already, a song taken off her Lion King, The Gift album in 2019. Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews today. My name is Becky. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Please join us. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Beautiful. Hi, Becky.
Hello.
That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news over there. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.